Welcome to our History Mosaic channel. In today's video, we're diving into one of the most intriguing and controversial elections in American history, the 1824 U.S. presidential election. Known for its dramatic twists and intense rivalries, this election set the stage for significant political changes in the United States. In 1824, four major candidates, Andrew Jackson, John Quincy Adams, William H. Crawford, and Henry Clay, vied for the highest office in the land. With no clear majority winner, the decision was ultimately thrown into the House of Representatives, leading to a series of scandals and accusations that would forever impact American politics. Join us as we explore the key candidates, their campaigns, the election process, and the lasting effects of this pivotal moment in history. We'll uncover the behind-the-scenes drama, the so-called corrupt bargain, and how this election reshaped the future of presidential politics. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more historical deep dives and political analysis. 1. The background and historical context of the election. The 1824 U.S. presidential election stands as a significant milestone in American political history, marking a period of intense competition and pivotal developments. This election was not only a contest between four major candidates, but also a reflection of the evolving political landscape of the United States. Here's a detailed look at the background and historical context of this landmark election. The context of the election. 1. Political climate and pre-election environment. The early 19th century was a time of significant political change in the United States. The Federalist Party had declined, leaving the Democratic-Republican Party as the dominant force. However, by 1824, the Democratic-Republican Party had begun to fracture, leading to the emergence of several factions. This fragmentation set the stage for a competitive and contentious election. Second, key candidates. The 1824 election featured four main candidates: Andrew Jackson, John Quincy Adams, William H. Crawford, and Henry Clay. Each candidate represented different political and regional interests, contributing to the complexity of the election. Andrew Jackson, a military hero and populist from Tennessee, Jackson had gained national fame through his leadership in the Battle of New Orleans. John Quincy Adams, the son of former President John Adams and a distinguished diplomat, Adams was known for his work as Secretary of State. William H. Crawford, a seasoned politician and former Secretary of the Treasury, Crawford was a key figure in the Democratic-Republican faction. Henry Clay, a prominent politician and leader of the American system, Clay was influential in shaping economic policies and had significant political support. Third, election mechanism and process. In 1824, the presidential election was determined by the Electoral College, with each state appointing electors who cast their votes for president. The winner needed a majority of the electoral votes. If no candidate achieved a majority, the decision was made by the House of Representatives. 4. Key issues and campaign strategies. The election was characterized by various issues and strategic maneuvers. Jackson's populist appeal contrasted with Adams's diplomatic experience, while Crawford's financial expertise and Clay's economic vision added further dimensions to the campaign. The significance. The 1824 election is significant for several reasons. End of the Federalist Party. The decline of the Federalist Party and the subsequent rise of the Democratic-Republican factions set the stage for the modern two-party system. Fragmentation of the Democratic-Republican Party. The election highlighted the divisions within the Democratic-Republican Party and foreshadowed the emergence of new political alignments. Precedent for future elections. The contentious nature of the 1824 election and the eventual decision by the House of Representatives established precedents for future presidential elections. Candidates and campaigns. The 1824 U.S. presidential election was marked by a diverse group of candidates and dynamic campaign strategies. Understanding the candidates and their campaigns provides insight into the complexities of this historic election. Here's a detailed examination of the candidates and their campaign efforts. 1. Andrew Jackson. Background: Andrew Jackson, a military hero and populist from Tennessee, was a major figure in the 1824 election. Known for his victory in the Battle of New Orleans, Jackson's appeal was based on his reputation as a champion of the common people. Campaign strategy: populist appeal. Jackson's campaign emphasized his image as a man of the people. His military successes and frontier background resonated with many voters, particularly in the South and West. Personal appeal. Jackson's personal charisma and straightforward approach helped him build a strong support base, making him a formidable candidate in the election. John Quincy Adams. Background: John Quincy Adams, the son of former President John Adams, was a distinguished diplomat and politician. His experience as Secretary of State and his background in American politics positioned him as a knowledgeable candidate. Campaign strategy. Diplomatic experience. Adams' campaign highlighted his extensive experience in diplomacy and his role in shaping U.S. foreign policy. His reputation as a seasoned statesman was a key element of his appeal. National projects. Adams promoted his vision for national infrastructure and economic development, aiming to position himself as a candidate capable of leading the country forward. William H. Crawford. Background: William H. Crawford, a veteran politician and former Secretary of the Treasury, represented the financial and economic wing of the Democratic-Republican Party. His expertise in fiscal matters was a central theme of his campaign. Campaign strategy. Economic expertise. Crawford's campaign focused on his record of financial management and his role in implementing economic policies. His knowledge of economic issues was a key asset. Party support. Crawford relied on his connections within the Democratic-Republican Party to build support and leverage his political experience. Henry Clay. Background: Henry Clay, a prominent politician and leader of the American system, was known for his influential role in shaping U.S. economic policy. His campaign emphasized his vision for national economic development. Campaign strategy. American system. Clay's campaign promoted his economic plan, known as the American system, which aimed to develop national infrastructure and support economic growth. Political influence. Clay used his position as Speaker of the House to influence the election and garner support for his candidacy. The campaign dynamics. The 1824 election was characterized by intense competition and strategic maneuvering. Regional appeals. Each candidate sought to build support in different regions of the country, reflecting the diverse political landscape. Election tactics. Campaign tactics included rallies, public speeches, and strategic alliances to gain electoral votes. Election process and scandals. The 1824 U.S. presidential election was not only notable for its contentious nature, but also for the scandals and controversies that emerged during the process. This section provides a detailed overview of the election process and the significant scandals that shaped the outcome. The electoral process, electoral college system. In 1824, The president was elected by the Electoral College, with each state appointing electors who cast votes for president. A majority of electoral votes was required to win the presidency. The system was designed to balance regional interests and ensure a fair election. The role of the House of Representatives. When no candidate secured a majority of electoral votes, the decision was transferred to the House of Representatives. This contingency plan allowed the House to select the president from the top 3 candidates. The House's role in deciding the election was a critical aspect of the process. Scandals and controversies. Corrupt bargain. Allegations. One of the most significant scandals of the 1824 election was the corrupt bargain accusation. Henry Clay, who was Speaker of the House, was accused of striking a deal with John Quincy Adams. In return for his support for Adams, Clay was appointed Secretary of State. The allegations of a corrupt deal caused a major controversy and cast a shadow over Adams's presidency. Jackson's reaction. Andrew Jackson, who had received the highest number of popular votes, was deeply disillusioned by the outcome. Jackson and his supporters believed that the election was unfair and that the will of the people had been disregarded. This discontent fueled Jackson's future political campaigns and set the stage for his successful run in the 1828 election. Impact on future elections. The scandals and controversies of the 1824 election highlighted the need for reforms in the electoral process. The public's reaction to the perceived unfairness of the election contributed to calls for changes to the Electoral College system and greater transparency in the electoral process. Election results 1. Distribution of votes. The 1824 election featured 4 main candidates, each with varying levels of support. The results were as follows. Andrew Jackson. Jackson received the most popular votes and 99 electoral votes. His support was particularly strong in the South and West. John Quincy Adams. Adams secured 84 electoral votes and won the presidency through the House of Representatives. William H. Crawford. Crawford obtained 41 electoral votes. Health issues affected his campaign, diminishing his influence. Henry Clay. Clay received 37 electoral votes and played a crucial role in the election despite not winning the presidency. Second Electoral College outcome. With no candidate achieving a majority of electoral votes, the decision was passed to the House of Representatives. John Quincy Adams was selected as president by the House, despite Jackson's popular vote lead. Impacts of the election results. First presidency of John Quincy Adams. John Quincy Adams assumed the presidency amid controversy and allegations of a corrupt bargain. His presidency focused on national infrastructure projects and educational reforms, but faced significant opposition due to the contentious election process. Adams's administration was marked by challenges in gaining broad public support. 2. Andrew Jackson's response and 1828. Campaign. Andrew Jackson's reaction to the 1824 election results was one of dissatisfaction and disillusionment. Jackson's campaign for the 1828 election capitalized on the perceived injustice of the 1824 election, leading to a decisive victory. His presidency marked a shift towards a more populist and democratic approach in American politics. 3. Long-term effects on American politics. The 1824 election had a lasting impact on American political processes. The controversy surrounding the election led to increased scrutiny of the Electoral College system and calls for reform. The election also highlighted the growing influence of popular sentiment in shaping presidential elections. Fourth, historical legacy. The 1824 election remains a significant historical event due to its impact on the evolution of American political systems and its role in shaping the future of presidential campaigns. The election's legacy includes its influence on electoral reforms and the development of modern political strategies. Conclusion. The results of the 1824 presidential election had profound effects on American politics. The election's outcome, characterized by controversy and political maneuvering, shaped the future of presidential elections and left a lasting legacy on the U.S. political landscape. 5. Political and social effects. The 1824 U.S. presidential election was a turning point that had significant political and social effects. The election's outcomes and the associated controversies contributed to shaping American politics and society in the years that followed. Here's a detailed exploration of the political and social impacts of the 1824 election. 1. Political effects. Emergence of the two-party system. The 1824 election highlighted the fragmentation of the Democratic-Republican Party and set the stage for the development of a two-party system. The divisions within the party led to the formation of new political alignments, with Jacksonian Democrats and Adams Clay supporters emerging as distinct factions. This development laid the groundwork for the modern two-party system in American politics. Second, electoral reforms and democratization. The controversies and perceived unfairness of the 1824 election led to calls for electoral reforms. The corrupt bargain allegations and Jackson's dissatisfaction with the outcome prompted discussions on making the electoral process more democratic and transparent. Reforms aimed at increasing public participation and reducing political manipulation were initiated in response to the election's shortcomings. 3. Andrew Jackson's political rise. Andrew Jackson's reaction to the 1824 election results played a crucial role in his rise to political prominence. Jackson's populist approach and focus on representing the common people resonated with a broad segment of the electorate. His successful 1828 campaign demonstrated the increasing importance of popular support and public sentiment in American politics. Social effects. 1. Increased public political engagement. The 1824 election spurred increased public engagement in political processes. Jackson's populist appeal and the contentious nature of the election heightened public interest in political affairs. Voters became more active in advocating for their preferred candidates and participating in the democratic process. Second, regional and social divisions. The election results and campaign dynamics contributed to regional and social divisions within the United States. Jackson's strong support in the South and West contrasted with Adams' backing in the Northeast, highlighting regional differences and social tensions. These divisions influenced political alignments and contributed to ongoing debates about regional representation. Third, impact on minority and women's rights. The 1824 election era also marked the beginning of increased awareness and advocacy for minority and women's rights. As political processes became more scrutinized, there were growing calls for greater representation and rights for women and minority groups. The election period set the stage for future movements advocating for broader inclusion and equality. Fourth, educational and public awareness. The controversies and discussions surrounding the 1824 election contributed to increased public awareness and education about the electoral process. The election highlighted the need for informed and engaged citizens, leading to greater emphasis on political education and public understanding of democratic principles. Conclusion. The 1824 presidential election had significant political and social effects that shaped the future of American democracy. The emergence of the two-party system, calls for electoral reforms, and the rise of Andrew Jackson as a political force were key outcomes of the election. Additionally, the increased public engagement, regional divisions, and advocacy for minority rights marked important social changes. The election's legacy continues to influence American political and social dynamics to this day.